Welcome back to Blast Guys Reviews. In this review, we'll be taking a look at the G.I.JOE Classified series, Nunchuk. Here's the packaging. I'm expecting something a little different. We have a city background. I thought it'd be some kind of oriental or forest or ninja scenery. There's no Ninja Force logo on this box, which is kind of silly not to have that, but it is what it is. So this is the front of the packaging for you package collectors. Here is the back. This is number 80 in the line. Nunchuk and his accessories that it comes with. Some little points there to show off some of the features. And the rest of the box is just legal stuff in multiple languages. This side of the box is awesome artwork. I do love it. It's great. Very cool. And this side of the box has some of the features, QR code, some stats there. Pretty interesting. Here's the top of the box. Here's the bottom of the box. And there's the UPC. Alright, here's Nunchuk outside the box. My first thing I noticed, and I hope it was just a product imaging where the lighting, is that they replaced the black with like this darker gray color. It's really irritating on the aspect of that because I really like basically the black and green. It was so much better. I don't know why I wanted the gray. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but if they're trying to stay to the classic version, then they kind of missed the boat. So, but it looks awesome nonetheless. Definitely one of the ones I'm definitely looking forward to here. So let's go and take a look at him. His head sculpt is pretty awesome. We have the do-rag with the bandana around the top of his head. Not a whole lot of paint to bring out all those little sculpting features, but kind of expected that. On the back here, you can see it's blowing like to the one side, which is pretty cool. And then you see this hole here in the top of his, or back of his head here on the top. There's an accessory, like a tie that goes inside there. We'll take a look at here in a little bit. But not too bad at all. I like it. We have this harness here. We have a grenade. Maybe a smoke bomb could be. A nice sleeve. And like I said, there's a lot of sculpting there in the overall harness, but it looks pretty good. Upper body here on the arm. Do have this armor just done in gray. It's a pretty decent sculpting, but just plain with the overall mold of gray plastic. Very cool. He has some gauntlets here that kind of overlay each other. Nice gauntlet on the hand, gray gloves. Then he has this pretty much we're used to seeing his green gi. But then we have the stripes with the gray, and that's replacing the black, which is unfortunate. And that's throughout the entire figure aesthetic. You have the belt. You have two little like half-size sword sleeves that are cut out, so we can put his swords in. There's some hoops on the back of his belt here for his nunchucks. We'll get to the weapons here shortly. Back of his pants looks good. I love the color green they used. That was pretty good. Then we have his footwear. We do have the wraps around his shins. Then we have his ninja shoes. That little dent between the toes. It's pretty awesome. I like how that worked. Overall, he looks good on the sculpting wise. It's just a little off because it's not black, but pretty cool looking figure. Now when I got mine, he had some pretty serious stuck joints. I had to heat him up for the most part, especially his waist here. You can notice that this is kind of a smaller joint here in the center than used to seeing. Usually more wider across, but I guess it's because of the sculpting with his strap here. Let's take a look at the articulation for his head. It does rotate 360, no problem. Even with the do-rag on, it looks pretty good. He can look down, up, side to side. That's not as much as we're used to seeing because of the do-rag. And it's just like a harder plastic. They should have maybe used soft goods, maybe. I'm not totally sure if I would have went with that or not either. But there's a neck joint there that makes his head move back and forth also. So that's pretty good. This is one of the concerns I was having also with the color, was how this was going to work for articulation. And there is some flexibility here, but I'd be very careful with pushing too much. I can get, decent up, But I really am uncomfortable with going any farther than that. And it won't tuck under his butterfly joints or anything like that. And it kind of just smashes to his shoulder there. If you're trying to keep your figures in good condition, I wouldn't recommend forcing that too much, or even maybe pop that off or rip it or tear it to plastic. Double jointed elbows here. His wrists do rotate 360. And then I have the up and down on this hand. Yep. Which is pretty good. Even going backwards, you see that hitting that shoulder blade on the back. The butterfly joints don't help a whole lot. Rotation. This hand is pretty much, yeah, this is the same articulation as the other arm. Then we have that chest here, which is, once I freed it up, I was stuck pretty good. He can bend over pretty good. And then back, there's no clicking in this one, so he gets a decent back range. Because if he's diving out of a helicopter on a stealth mission with Snake Eyes and the rest of his team, you're pretty good there. There's a rotation at the waist. Mine are always like super stiff, and I usually do not mess a whole lot with that. I will probably heat it up to get a little better range, but I don't need a 360 range. But it's there if you want to get it to loosen up. His legs are pretty good and perfect in my opinion. The range, because he is a ninja, and it's super important to get those high kicks, which is great. Ball jointed legs. Dropped on hips, obviously. Then you have to push him back up. And he can sit really decently if you ever get some ninja vehicles or whatever you guys want to stick him into. Hopefully get some decent, more classified vehicles. We have the thigh cut 360. My knees, I thought I heated them up. Gotta watch, even heat. Sometimes heating these up, they go back to the original stiffness. So you can see double joint knees. This one's kind of stuck. I'll have to reheat that one up again. His ankles, they pivot down, up. Nice, for the kicking range. Which is pretty cool. The rocker around the ankle, or a rotation on the ankle, to give you that illusion of a rocker, whatever your definition of a rocker is. So pretty good. The belt kind of just keeps going upward on you when you're moving around a lot, but that's expected with a lot of the classified figures. There's nothing keeping it in place. I did notice on the new Marvel Legends Cyclops for Wave 2 of the 97 wave, they were talking about putting a pin and the band that goes around his waist. So I'm wondering if that's something we might see in the future for these. I'm not sure if I would like that. I mean, it would keep it in place, so to speak, but then would it cause an issue of role playability? Something to think about, some food for thought. Alright guys, so let's take a look at the accessories. I went ahead and I heard that Nunchuk was coming out. I made myself a pair of custom Nunchucks. And I'm going to share it with you guys here in the video. So keep an eye out for that in our video. But some of the accessories here really worried me when I first seen them. Obviously because a lot of size issues have been going on with some of the other figures. They've been trying to use some of the female parts on the male characters, especially the weapons, and it doesn't work out, to the scale. So, but let's get into it. Here is that bandana piece that goes on the back of his head here, which is pretty cool. This pegs right in. I definitely could see that getting lost. It's not a great hold. I mean, you can always, blow it to the one side. See how it just pops out. You can see a lot of people maybe gluing that in, but if you do that, you're kind of stuck at the stationary point that you glue it into. But you can place that anywhere you want on the figure. I kind of like it to the side because we already have the natural flow of the do-rag. So it looks pretty cool like that, in my opinion. Maybe a little high, but you get the idea. Kind of gets it away from it, gives it more layers and more textures, a lot more to look at, especially in displays. Or you can just have it hanging down to the side, kind of at an angle. However you think that he looks the best for your collection. Very cool. I really don't need that to be, loose. It could have been attached. Not a problem for me. So it comes with a little knife. This plain gray plastic. I wish that the blade was silver and had that little bit of green on this part here. If they did, that would have made this amazing because it would have brought out the weapon inside of his sleeve here, and they would have gave it ownership like his swords. So I'll go ahead and show you what the knife looks like in his hand. These weapons, I'm going to tell you now, on the smaller side. The handles are just really small. He holds the knife okay. There's a place to keep it right here. But if you had just a little bit of color on the blade, I'll show you on the sword what I'm talking about, but that little bit of green there, I think it would have definitely set that off pretty nicely. But unfortunately, I mean, you always can paint it if you want to. Now next up is a sword, so we'll take a look at that, and I'll show what I'm saying about the green. See, if we had the handle gray with that little bit of green and this silver there, I think it's a missed opportunity for the design team. But these are his swords. Now, Da Vinci's sword was different. He didn't come with two. He came with one. It was kind of like a wavy sword. It was just a piece of black plastic. They redesigned the swords. They look really cool. They have this curved blade. Have these notches here. This bevel piece. It looks pretty menacing in my opinion. I do like the swords, but the handles are quite thin. I'm really surprised at the plastic quality. My swords are straight. They're not that soft plastic, so that's a good thing. They actually stay pretty good. So let's see how well he holds them. His hands are pretty tight on his figure, so just look a little bit off to me because they look a little bit too small, in my opinion. Just think they need to reevaluate their scale for their weapons, especially the handles. The blades look kind of short. For Ninja, you can see that it doesn't really protrude too far past his head. And these more like machetes than they do swords. But it is what it is, I guess. They are very cool. I love the design and everything, but you can see that he doesn't hold them as tight as you would like because of, you see it moving, the thin handles they come with. And one of the other things I did notice was that kind of irritates me. You can put these swords in his sleeve here, any way you want. You put them in this way or this way, whatever you're going for aesthetically. But they didn't think about the curvature of the blade. So you got to kind of like put him like this, angle it, and then you can feel already you have to push. And you're getting that rub of the tip. So with that being a painted blade, you're definitely going to get eventually paint rubs and missing paint here on your blades from playing over time. I've done this several times now for my own playability, but I haven't got any paint rubs, but I can definitely see that happening. Now I put one in this way. I'm going to put one in this way just so you can see the difference. And I must say, putting it this way is less stress on the blade. So, I mean, it's up to you. The overall stake that you're going for. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I like the whole aspect of, I would rather have a full sword sleeve maybe on his back versus that. It's not for me. That aesthetic isn't, classic ninja, I guess. Now it comes with some new accessories, which is fantastic looking. We have these claws. I like how they went with these because it gives you a difference from everybody gonna say you see claws, they automatically think about Wolverine, and here you go. So you have 3 claws, but you have 2 that set lower, and then the middle one set higher and it's longer. So pretty cool. Then I have these back blades here. So if you want to backhand somebody, you can catch them and do some serious damage with these. These looks like the hands just go through the grip, and he just kind of holds them like this. Okay, it is a little irritating to put in, but it is what it is. They kind of just hold. You got to kind of go in on the inside and wrap it around the hand, get it to work. This hand works a lot better than this one for some reason. There's a lot of stress to bring that up over the top of his hand there. pretty good. Not too bad, huh? Pretty cool accessories. Like those. Now, let's get to the elephant in the room. With every accessory we usually get, when they're nunchucks, they usually get either super hard plastic, and then when you try to bend them to give them some kind of playability, they usually stress out here. But Hasbro kind of gives us a softer plastic. You see that I'm bending them with no wear there. But these are incredibly small, which is good on a product, on the material used, but size is way off. These are like for like a 1/18 scale figure, in my opinion. But I'll go ahead and get those claws out of his hand, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, here we go. We have the nunchucks in his hand. They kind of like they're softer plastic, so you can see that he pretty much engulfs almost the entire chuck there. And look how short it is. It's not like you can even tuck it too much under his arm. I mean, you can look anything that's cool, at least. Look how small they look. So, and his hand here can hold it, but they're quite small nunchucks. So I went ahead and put one in the back just to show you what it looks like. They kind of fit. Don't worry about any kind of plastic stress or anything, if that's something you worry about, but they're quite small. That leads me into my custom weapon for Nunchuk. So if the character named after a weapon, you think those would be the weapons that Hasbro would focus on, and then it's notoriously getting bad nunchucks. I decided I'm going to make my custom own pair, and here they are. Obviously, the first thing is I want a real chain on my nunchucks. I do not want rubber chains. I understand there are like a tube or some nunchucks out there that have the rope between the two chucks, but this is what makes it so deadly and cool, is with the chains. I went ahead, like I said, I pre-painted these and prepared these for Nunchuk before I got him. So I'm trying to match up the green. I don't think I did too bad. A little lighter, but that's okay. I like it. I think it turns out pretty good. Gives it a little bit of variance and the tones and shades. So it's pretty good for the color wise. And then I got the metal chain. And then of course, get all the wonderful actions that you can get. Pretty decent. I went ahead and made me a pair of nunchucks. So he could have a pair. These look fantastic. I like how these turned out. Let me know, you guys, in the comments what you think. Do you guys like these? Hit the thumbs up if you do. Appreciate that. Here's a comparison of Hasbro's. Here's a comparison of the custom ones. You can see how small that is compared to mine. Pretty cool. And then obviously the length, I got some range now. So I can do some damage against some Red Ninjas or Storm Shadow, Cobra Troopers, whatever I want to smack the hell out of with my nunchucks. Pretty cool. And here he is holding my nunchucks. Doing pretty good. See, he looks a lot better overall scale wise. Pretty decent. I went ahead and painted mine, and I sealed the paint several times to make sure that when I take him inside out of his hand, it doesn't wear off. So there's some serious paint still on these. So in theory, they shouldn't rub off. Pretty good. I like it. I like how they turned out. I guess I can't put that on his head, huh? They look good. Unfortunately, they will not fit in the back of here because of the sheer size difference. But I do like how that turned out. Alright guys, some more final thoughts. I think it turned out pretty good. I like the overall aesthetic. The sculpt's good. The paint is my biggest issue. Yeah, I wish it was black. I wish there was a little bit of paint on his knife. And the nunchucks are terrible. The weapons are undersized. The swords they're doable, but I think it's a big miss with the handles being so small. I wish it was a little tighter grip. Other than that, I do highly recommend him. He's very cool. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. And we'll see you in our next review.